real estate analysis firm Urbanation anticipates a record number of new condo units to be completed in 2023, citing an estimated 32,000 units in the Greater Toronto Area, up from the previous completion high of approximately 22,500 units in 2020. To quickly explain, these were units that were sold as pre-construction that will either be closing on the sale, for which buyers will be requiring a mortgage, or will be taking occupancy, which will be the short-term period before the condo corporation is established, in which the builders have the buyers fill the unit and pay a monthly fee to the builder that is usually the equivalent of the interest on the balance of the purchase price, the property taxes, and of course the utilities. Usually occupancy lasts less than a year until the building completes all construction and the condo corporation is established, but it can really vary project to project. These completions are coming months after new rules have been instituted, including a 2-year federal ban on foreign buyers, an increase to the provincial foreign buyer purchase tax, and changes in taxation based on the duration of homeownership, as well as for assignment sales, of which some of these pre-con buyers will undoubtedly be a party to. And with interest rates significantly higher than when these pre-construction buyers had purchased their units originally, it calls into question how these units will affect the Greater Toronto Area housing market in the upcoming year. In today's video, I'm going to lay out what this might mean for Toronto real estate, more specifically the condo market, and for sellers who were looking to offload their condos in 2023, why you might want to consider selling sooner rather than later. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jonathan Lee and I'm a real estate agent here in Toronto. And if you enjoy Toronto-based real estate content, hit the like button. It's how YouTube knows that my stuff is worth viewing and sharing. And if you want to see more of my videos, click on subscribe. It's free, it's fun, and I'm doing a video a week in 2023, and I hope to bring you some great value for your attention. If you're thinking about doing something in real estate this year and want to get a better understanding of what's actually happening out there, you can schedule a call with me through Calendly by clicking on the link below in the description. It makes sense to start this topic around what new rules were instituted over the past year that may exacerbate the situation. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not a legal or tax professional. I make no warranties on anything in this video. I read the rules and I consult with others that are more specialized than myself to interpret what the new rules might mean. As such, I encourage anyone needing legal and tax advice to seek guidance from licensed professionals and not to rely solely on this video. The first rule I'll mention is the flipping tax. This was a change in the tax guidelines that were officially put into place in December 2020, but has been quietly investigated by CRA over the past number of years. Anyone who sells residential real estate within approximately 1 year of purchasing it and profits from the sale will be flagged as a flipper rather than an investor. They will be taxed not on the capital gains, which is when about 50% of the profit is taxed as income, but will be taxed as business income on the entire profit. This applies for assignment sales as well, regardless of when the original purchase documents were signed. Even if the buyers had signed the purchase documents back in 2005, if they sell the property as an assignment in 2023, they will be taxed as business income. Since most sellers probably won't be selling through a corporation, business income would likely be added to their personal income, and all the profit and income will be taxed accordingly. For example, if your net gain will be $200,000 from selling your condo, as a typical investor, you would be taxed on half that gain through capital gains or $100,000. And if you're a top tier earner and taxpayer, you would surrender a bit more than half to that to taxes. I think about $54,000. If your personal income is lower, of course, you would be taxed less. As a flipper, under the same circumstances, the entire $200,000 will be viewed as business income and fully taxable. And again, if you're a top tier earner, you would potentially surrender approximately $108,000 to taxes, again, depending on what your actual tax brackets are. Now, it doesn't end there. Since you're now considered to be in the business of flipping homes, earning more than $30,000 a year doing this, you are also required to collect and remit HST on the sale. But no buyer would actually pay an extra 13% for real estate, and even if it's not collected, the burden of paying for it falls onto the seller come tax time. I'm told that while primary residents are exempt from being taxed, especially under very specific circumstances, a death, marriage, growth of family, loss of employment, work relocation, personal injury, insolvency of owner, or expropriation, outside of these situations, if a property is sold in less than a year, even if it's a primary residence, the profit will be closely analyzed by CRA, and the sellers could end up potentially being liable for any profit and be taxed accordingly. While I do think it's worthwhile for CRA to be pursuing home flippers, there are many circumstances where the rules can backfire, especially in pre-construction. I often find buyers who had purchased pre-construction homes with the intention of occupying them have outgrown them or are very close to outgrowing the unit by the time construction is complete. This results in the buyers occupying it for a short time, maybe a year, sometimes less, and then selling to move up the property ownership ladder to a larger home. The second rule is a federal foreign buyer ban instituted in January of 2023. The ban will last 2 years and will ban non-resident foreign buyers from purchasing real estate. There are exceptions for international students who have been here for the bulk of the last 5 years. They can purchase property up to a maximum of $500,000. Temporary residents on work visas who have been filing taxes in Canada for at least 3 of the last 4 years. Recreational properties, commercial properties, and buildings containing more than 3 units are also exempt and can be purchased by foreign buyers. Now, one thing that needs to be clarified is even though foreign buyers are now banned from buying property, all deals made before the ban took place are allowed to close, and any foreign buyer that purchased their unit as pre-construction and as such of course purchased before 2023 will be allowed to close when the time comes. This new ban will shrink a small portion of the resale and assignment market buyer pool, but won't have an effect on a foreign buyer being capable of closing on the sale. However, this ban will affect existing and future pre-construction projects as there will be fewer buyers to purchase them. The third rule to mention is the Provincial foreign buyer tax. In October 2022, the foreign buyer tax rose and is now sitting at 25% of the purchase price. The foreign buyer tax was introduced in January of 2018 and was previously 15% before rising to 20% in early 2022 and now being at 25%. Refunds exist for foreign buyers that meet certain criteria, but the process of receiving the refund is long and arduous and usually locks in cash for at least a year. The foreign buyer tax is calculated on the year the sale closes, not the year that the purchase documents were signed. So any pre-construction projects that are closing this year that were purchased by a foreign buyer will be subject to a 25% closing tax. According to this article in the Toronto Star from November 2022, 80% of pre-construction buyers in Toronto are investors. The buyer profiles and information aren't tracked or publicly available from builders, but it's well known that pre-construction attracts investment. Over the last 8 to 10 years, with a rapid run-up of home and condo prices, assignment flipping has become an increasingly popular means of investing in pre-construction projects. An assignment flip is when an investor purchases into a pre-construction project, and before the project finishes and registers itself as a condo corporation, the contract for the unit is resold and assigned to a new buyer, often at a price that is significantly higher than what the flipper originally purchased the pre-construction project for. The reason this new buyer would pay for this assignment is because the unit is 1, completely new, 2, nearing completion so they can occupy it imminently, and is similar or slightly higher in price to a comparable resale unit, which is of course not brand spanking new. Assignment flipping hypothetically allows for an aggressive investor to use the same mortgage pre-approval to go and purchase multiple pre-construction projects, resell their contracts, and realize the gains before the box in the sky actually turns into real estate. Previously, they would avoid paying the land transfer taxes, dealing with tenants, cash out quickly, usually at minimum getting the deposit back before the deal closes, which they can use again to purchase another pre-construction project or other forms of real estate. There would be some risks that come with it as well, such as dealing with the HST rebates and the capital gain tax liability on the flip. However, it's been incredibly profitable over the past couple of years. There will always be projects that sell in the assignment market. These sales usually occur right before or during the occupancy period, but the troublesome issue is with 32,000 completions coming down the pipeline, high interest rates, and rules changes, there will likely be a large influx of assignment sales coming to the market. Not only the assignment flippers whose market has likely grown significantly in the last few years, but also foreign buyers who hadn't anticipated closing taxes running so high, potentially end users who don't want to have to hold on to their units for multiple years in order to avoid flipping tax and must either be landlords or live in undersized quarters, and of course anyone that purchased pre-construction that can't afford the high interest rates and the increased property taxes. This other article in the Toronto Star is a show of what is to come. Now, an increase in assignment sales is bad news for the condo resale market as well, as a large set of brand new units that become cheaply available for below market prices will of course affect what perceived value a resale condo offers, and inevitably these units will have to start selling for less money in order to match the value that can be found on the assignment market. So even though condos actually fared quite well in the market shift last fall of 2022 compared to freehold homes, as I mentioned in my last video, there's a chance that we might see them perform more poorly as freeholds in the next year or so. And if condo prices drop drastically, it will affect the freehold market as well, as upsizers won't have as much purchasing power. And of course, this will also affect the rental market, as renters may soon opt to buy instead of rent. Is this the big housing correction everyone was waiting for? Leave your comments down below. Now, this is not only bad news for the pre-con buyers, condo resale market, to some degree the freehold market, good news to renters though, but also for builders. If a pre-construction buyer can't close and can't sell their assignments without experiencing huge financial losses or bankruptcy, will the builders legally pursue the pre-con buyers for their financial losses? And how long would it take to recover the lost revenue from individual buyers when the construction loans interest rates are so high? Definitely some food for thought and something to think about. Builders might take longer to move on to their next projects over the next couple years. If that happens, we might experience an influx in housing inventory, dropping prices, followed by another run-up of condo prices because nothing was built for a number of years due to builders getting burned. Anyways, that's it for me. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to watch more, please subscribe to my channel. I'm doing a video a week in 2023, and I'd appreciate the support. Again, if you want to chat, click on the link below in the description and we'll set up a call through Calendly. Cheers!